It's showtime.
It is?
It is.
What show is that?
The Auto Authorities Podcast is in the house. How are you doing today, Mr. David Marks?
I'm doing fantastic. Hoo.
I'll tell you this. We have an amazing show planned today. This is the world's greatest auto scams part 2. And if you thought part 1 was amazing, part 2 is going to knock your socks off. And you will be very, very shocked. If you are watching right now, you will be shocked by the end of this. And you're going to be like, I am so glad I am watching the Auto Authorities Podcast. Because we have so much great information to share and so little time. And I'm so excited. And if you're watching this right now, please like, share, and subscribe to the Auto Authorities Podcast. Share this with your friends. I'm so freaking pumped up. I can't even see straight, David Mark.
I can tell you're just about to jump through the screen.
I am, because I would say out of all the episodes we've ever done, this is going to be my favorite.
Sure.
Because this is the one that every single person that is watching this can use this information, whether it's now or later, or their friends or their family.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you ready to do this, Mr. David Marks?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride when buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the podcast that tells you what to watch out for, whether you're buying, selling,
or repairing your car.
With 47 years of automotive experience, we are the Automotive Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent. We're real estate agents for cars.
And Quality Auto STL. Trusted services with no surprises.
And we're back. And boy, oh boy, do we have a big show. If you are just joining us, we are going to be talking about the world's greatest auto scams part 2. And if
we perfected all these scams too, by the way.
What'd you say?
I said we perfected all these scams too, by the way.
Oh my gosh. This is going to be amazing. I just wanted to also thank our sponsor, Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media. If you want to start your own podcast, simply email him at start@techieTonymedia.com. And I have a free gift for everybody today that's listening. So open your ear. If you have your mobile phone, go on your phone and type in the numbers 57838, where you would put the phone number. So that's 57838. And then type the word car, C-A-R, just in case you didn't know how to spell it. Hit send, and you are going to get my free ebook on how to buy a car without the nonsense. We're going to be teaching you tips throughout the show, but this is a really handy book that you can use when you're going to buy your car, so you don't run into these scams that Mr. David Marks and I are going to talk about. So let's get right into it, Dave. Let's talk about the first scam, and that's the Title Max scam.
The titles, yeah.
Or the title loan scam. Do you know about this?
Yeah, I know a little bit. I mean, I know a little bit about it. I know, I've seen them selling their stuff at auction. I mean, I would assume that somehow people have a way to, I guess, or if somebody's sold a car but they don't have a title, it's probably a Title Max car.
Well, I'm going to tell you really easy what this is. This is somebody that has a car that's paid off and they need money, and they go to a place like Title Max or get a title loan, and the title loan company places a lien against that car. So now they own that car basically if you don't pay your debts. And they give you the money. Like if you go right to their website, you can get the money within 30 minutes.
Wow.
You ready to hear the scam?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's use a scenario.
Bobby.
Bobby. Well, no, Bobby's not Bobby is the person that makes the bad decision. Guido decides to go. He wants to do a scam. So Guido goes and gets a fake ID. He has a vehicle that's in his name. And Guido goes to Title Max and says, oh, before he actually goes to Title Max, he applies for a lost title. Okay, you follow me? So he applies for a lost title. So now he's going to have two titles. He's going to have one title in his name and the other one's in his name as well, but it says duplicate title on it. So he goes and takes the original title to Titlebacks and says, I would like a loan against this car. And let's just say it's a $20,000 car and he wants $10,000. So they say, no problem, Guido. We will give you a loan for $10,000 and we're just going to place a lien against it. He goes, oh, that's no problem. Let's just say it's a $20,000 Nissan Maxima. And Bobby, the one that makes bad decisions, we all know who Bobby is if you watch the podcast or listen to it. Bobby makes bad decisions. So Bobby goes to Guido, and Guido is selling this 2019 Nissan Maxima for $5,000. No, let's just say $10,000 because that's a little bit more. Yeah, it's probably about a $20,000 car. Let's just say he sells it for about half price. So Bobby's like, oh, I'm going to get a great deal. I'm going to pay $10,000 for this car. So then Guido gives him the duplicate title that says no lien against it and says, hey, Bobby, give me your $10,000. And Bobby gives him $10,000 now. So now he has $20,000 and he's off to another country. And Bobby now has a car and a title that actually has a lien against it. And Bobby goes to register that car and they said, whoa, there's a lien against this car. You can't buy this car until you pay it off. He goes, what do you mean it was paid off? I've got the title right here. There's a lien against it. So now Bobby has made another bad decision. And I don't know if you follow me on this, if you're just joining us, but these title loans could be a real mess. And the problem is there really isn't a way to 100% foolproof know if you are buying a car that has a lien against it. Okay. And I'm going to share with you some tips that you should do if you are going to buy a car. Number one, if you're reading my book, and I just gave you, if you look on the bottom of the screen as it scrolls down there, if you type in 57838 on your mobile phone and type in the word car and send, you will have the book that I'm talking about. One of the very first steps when you're going to look for a car is look at the dealer's reputation. Or if it's a private owner, look and see if they're really a private owner. That right there can eliminate 90% of the problem. Because if you see that, say they're a private owner and they're advertising as a private owner and maybe they're really a dealer, or they have 5 other cars that they're selling at ridiculously low prices, that needs to be a red flag for you. That needs to be a red flag. And if you're just joining us, we have a lot of people listening to us right now. We are talking about title loans like TitleMax. If you go into TitleMax and you want a loan against your car, you can do it legally, but there are people out there that are doing this illegally. So now Bobby is out $10,000 and he has a car that he cannot register. So if you're just joining us, if you download the book and you listen to or read the ebook, you are going to learn a ton. And this is a very, very serious thing, because if you pull a Carfax, if you pull an auto check, that lien will not show up on there 90% of the time.
The only thing I can think of that really people can do is prior to going over there, or prior to transacting, at least if it's a Missouri title, Missouri car, call the Missouri Department of Revenue and ask them.
But the problem is, even Dave, is if they, okay, so here's the problem. The problem is they're not going to know, because by the time Guido runs away with $10,000, then the Missouri's not going to know.
Well, I mean, before you buy it, I wonder if TitleMax or these title companies are reporting that they're a lien holder to the Missouri Department of Revenue.
Well, yeah, they are, but it's not going to report, because if you've already filed for a lost title and you have 2 titles, and Guido goes in with 1 title, and he says, "Hey, I want $10,000," and they're like, "Sure, here's $10,000." Well, Guido says, "Okay, great, and I'm going to go ahead and sell this car now that I have $10,000. I'm going to sell this car that I just bought. I'm going to sell it to Bobby. Bobby pays him another $10,000. And now we've got a big problem." And it's something that, again, it's not 100% foolproof, but use your best judgment. Look at the person you're buying it from and see if he wants to meet you in a back alley, with his brother, Guido Jr. So I got another one. If you're just listening and just tuning in, we are talking about the world's greatest scams part 2. And I'm going to share a scam that will blow your mind. And I guarantee you there's not one person, unless you're in the automotive business listening to this, and if you want to make comments too, feel free, because we see the comments. I guarantee you the next scam that I tell you about, nobody's going to know about. And that's the Canadian vehicle. And it's not necessarily it's a scam, it's a beware type of a thing, right? So Dave, did you know that we get vehicles from Canada? I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the first digit of the VIN number, if it starts as a 2, it was assembled in Canada.
Right. And what people don't realize, there's some reasons why you should really stay away from a car from Canada. And try to find one that was manufactured in the United States. Number 1,
Good luck with that.
Salt. What?
Good luck with that.
Well,
they're all made in Mexico. If it starts with a 3, that's Mexican assembled.
But that's a little bit different. So in Canada, they have a lot of salt, and that's a very big problem, which causes a lot of corrosion. And I know you know this because you.
Yeah, we see that. We see rust. Well, we call it cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is on a car. It's cancer.
And there's very limited history behind the vehicle once it gets to the United States. They have to also do an odometer recalculation, because in Canada they use kilometers, and the United States we use miles. But the problem lies is this: there's a lot of flooded vehicles coming from Canada.
Huh.
And the problem is when they come into the United States, that may not be disclosed, and the titles are washed. And what that means is, if there was an issue in Canada, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a title that shows that there was a problem in Canada. Follow me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's missing very important data. Canada's trying to catch up with this, but I'm going to give you a perfect example. Somebody called iAutoAgent, and for those of you who don't know, I'm the CEO of iAutoAgent. They called iAutoAgent. They were looking for a Jeep Wrangler for their son. And part of our programs is, in that first step, we're looking at the reputation of the dealer. We're going through just like my book says. But the second step is really the history of the vehicle. And I found a Jeep Wrangler that was really, really low in price. And I'm seeing a lot of Jeep Wranglers coming from Canada. It was really low in price. And as soon as I saw Canada, I said, cut it. It's not worth it. We don't know what that vehicle's been through. The other thing is the resale value isn't so great on them, because the people that know, what a Canadian vehicle is, they know. And the Canadians also, the level of a vehicle, so the standard that they have and the standard that we have a higher standard than Canada. So when a vehicle comes over, it may not be quite as nice as the vehicles here in the United States. And let's face it, why would Canada send vehicles over to the United States if they were so great? They would sell them there. So we're not getting the cream of the crop. They're keeping the cream of the crop. And that is really, really important.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you talking about new stuff or used stuff that's getting filtered down to the state?
Used vehicles.
I mean, I had no idea, Jay. I never heard about this. I mean, I heard about flood vehicles being transported all over the country, but I never heard or thought about, because I was just under the assumption that, stuff like like Ford, GM, Chrysler, they're building stuff for the North American market, that they'd set the same standards for U.S. and Canada. Mexico's its own animal, but I wouldn't think they'd spend extra money on the assembly line to make something specific for Canada.
Yes. So basically, it's just like any used vehicle. They need to sell the vehicles, so they ship them over to the United States and they wash the titles. And if we get some time, we're going to talk a little bit more about that here. But for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about the world's greatest auto scams. This is part 2. And I do have a free gift. If you're just joining us, type in the number 57838. That's 57838. And where it says for the phone number on your text messaging program, and then type the word car, and you're going to get my free ebook. A lot of these things can be prevented by simply reading my book or hiring iAuto Agent to help you buy your next vehicle. So please like, share, and subscribe. But we're going to get right back into it, Dave. Let's talk about mechanic scams. This is something, if you're listening, open your ears, because you're going to learn a lot. I'll let you have the floor, Dave.
All right. Thanks, Jay. The biggest thing that a lot of mechanic scams, there's a lot of ways that consumers can protect themselves, because consumers just don't know cars anymore. They've changed so much in the 22 years I've been in this. But the biggest mistake I see consumers is they don't keep records. They depend on me and our shop to keep it. So wherever you get your car serviced, keep that record, because I can tell you how many countless times, I've just did 100K service on a car. Okay. And then the next oil change, they'll take it to one of the quick lubes or a change store, and they're trying to sell them every single fluid flush. Well, we just did that.
Mm.
So the consumers are calling me like, hey, Dave, I was at a quick lube and they wanted to do all this stuff. Didn't we just do that? Yeah, we did.
Wow.
So, keeping your records is king. I cannot stress it enough. Keep your records in the car or some way, shape, or form, so that way, when you're at the shop and you're at the service desk, you're at a quick lube, and because that's what they want to do. They want to upsell all these fluid flashes, especially the quick lube places, or wiper blades, or an air filter, or cabin air filter. They don't care if you need it or not. But if you don't know, you might succumb to that pressure, and you do it, because that's how they make money.
And then they pressure you too. Like, I remember my mom, she is a senior, and who gets taken advantage of more than anybody? Seniors. And they're telling her she needs this and that, and she's calling me, and then I'm calling you.
Yeah, she had to think about a battery, and we talked that out over the phone. I think the biggest thing that people can do to really protect themselves is, we've talked about this multiple times, establish a good relationship with the local independent shop. Stay away from the chain stores. And I'll throw dealers in there too, because there are good dealers that have good service departments with the right staff. Build that rapport, build that relationship, and guess what? That takes all the fear out of it.
It's all about who you know, and
I cannot emphasize that enough. The worst thing that consumer can do on their car is bounce around from shop to shop to shop to shop to shop to shop to shop. Build that relationship. What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's all good, Jay.
People do business with who they know, like, and trust.
Yeah. So the best thing you could do, I got some customers, we do all the repair work, but they take their car to the quick lube places for oil change. That's fine, no big deal. I don't care. But the main thing is that they've established a relationship. We're servicing the vehicle, so when they do go to those places, or they do end up somewhere else for whatever reason, they know, okay, I've had that done. I could tell me how many countless times, because this is what the dealers and the change stores are notorious for. They send out the cheap oil change coupon for $15.99. All that is they throw a line out You grab that coupon, you go in, and they want to upsell you the list.
Of course they do. They're not giving you any. They're not doing that. Those are called loss leaders. And one of the things I wanted to add, you had mentioned earlier to keep the stuff in your glove compartment. I'm going to talk about one other scam, and that's the identity theft scam. What people do sometimes when they pretend like they want to look at your car and they want to buy your car. Well, what they're really doing is sometimes they're trying to fish for information. Think about it. Think about what's in your glove compartment.
Yeah.
Insurance card. It has a lot of information on it. Some people leave their registrations in their car, have their license plate number, can attach to their name. I mean, there's so many things, and especially the repair records, it tells them the address. So I kind of go back to like our last episode when we're talking about test driving cars.
Yeah.
You need to go with these people when you're test driving cars. If you're going to sell a car, you need to go with them. They may kidnap you, but you need to go with them. It's better than not going with them and you don't know.
Yeah, I never thought about the records. I think, for the best thing people can do is there's a lot of ways where they can prevent the scammers because they're out there and they're gonna try it.
Yeah.
The other thing I think about is if you're at a shop is get an estimate in writing that breaks down, the parts and labor, and it goes about what kind of vibe do you get. You got to be able to read people. You've talked about that when you're buying a car. Just think about who you're dealing with. And then two, we talk about those lap episodes. The real scammers. They might overly kiss your ass. They're too nice to you.
Yeah, and that's so true, Dave. And if you guys are just joining us right now, we're talking about the world's greatest auto scams part 2. We have shared a lot of valuable information. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, please go back and listen to it. You can even text the 57838, the 57838, and the word car. It's going to give you my free ebook. It's going to give you great information, but it's also going to give you access to all of our podcasts. They're advertised on iTunes and Pandora and all the things. I want to talk about something that really pisses me off. You want me to tell you what it is? And everybody listen.
No, because I don't want you to hear this off.
There's a lot of dealerships that do this, but there's one specific dealer in St. Louis that starts with an N and ends with an N. And I'm going to tell you this. They're pissing me off and they're pissing other people off. And here's what they're doing, Mr. David Marks. You've heard of bait and switch, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about the modern day bait and switch. This is huge. What people do is when they're looking for a car, they go on the internet, right? And what's the first thing that people do? They're looking for the lowest price, right?
Yeah.
So they're looking for the lowest price. So these scam dealers, and I'm going to tell you, we have some amazing dealers that we work with, amazing, that do things the right way, and the bad guys ruin it for all of us. And this is what the dealers are doing. They're advertising a lower price, a price that is usually $2,000.
What?
Yes. And I'm going to give you a specific example of how this dealer did one of our clients in without us knowing. So this client hired AutoAuthorities to get a vehicle. We had a brand new Mazda all set up for her, and she decided to mosey on next door to this other dealer that starts with an N and ends with an N.
Oh,
and
it's on St. Peter's?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. I know. I'm with you. I know where you're at.
So I was so upset. Like we're receiving messages from her saying they're trying to scam me and they're trying to charge me more money. And I'm like, wait, what? This is what she did. She was looking at a used Honda CR-V. They had it advertised for $21,000. She was told that the price is now $23,000. And you know what their reasoning was? Oh, well, we have the reconditioning fee and there's costs involved of getting these cars ready, and we have a processing fee, and we've got, this jack fee, whatever. And it's like, wait,
The Guido fee.
didn't you guys have this all done before you advertise it? Oh, yeah, we did. So advertise it at the price it should be, which is $23,000. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, well, we're going to get you in the door, and we're just going to not quite tell you till we get you excited about the vehicle. That is absolutely wrong. And if anybody's listening to this and you want the good dealers in St. Louis or even throughout the country, we work nationwide. If you want the good dealer list, I'll give it to you, because there are good dealers and they are doing it right. But at the end of the day, we need to get these bad apples out of there. Everybody needs to be aware of these pieces of crap, because they're going to ruin it for everybody. Wow. And it's not right. And that's,
Yeah, I know the two groups that you're talking about. We know the Mazda dealer, they got a good reputation because they get a lot of my business on the parts side up in Hazelwood. But there's one particular dealer in Hazelwood now that I do absolutely zero with.
Yeah, and you're always going to have the good with the bad, right?
Sure.
And I don't think profit's a bad word. I just think unfair is. And that is exactly why we sit here every single week and we give this information to the public. Is we want the public to be aware of these things. So when you see a much lower price online, just, look at the reputation of that dealer. Go and read the reviews. Wait till you see all the red flags. I left that dealer because they threw $2,000 onto the extra price. Oh, surprise, surprise.
I've seen that dealer get slammed on Facebook, and I've jumped on the bandwagon a couple of times.
Yeah. We need to get these people out of there. Some of these, I don't know. I'm not going to because I'll get on my soapbox, and I've been doing this too long to sit there and watch these.
Oh, I know. They took over a Nissan franchise that I used to have a great relationship with the other brand, and I just don't do business with them anymore. I just, as soon as they took over a Hyundai franchise, I gave it to another one far away in Baldwin because I absolutely don't want to write them a check.
For those of you that are listening, please like, share, and subscribe. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear what you want to know. All these little these topics that we talk about are simply for you. It's what you guys want to hear. And there's nobody better than the Auto Authorities podcast, because this is live, raw, and uncut, if you haven't noticed. It's just about good information in under 30 minutes and under. That's our goal. So, I don't have a whole lot more to talk about, Dave. We're probably going to wind up having another episode on, because we have some other stuff to talk about. But I just wanted to thank everybody today, especially our Techie Tony with Techie Tony Media. If you're looking to start a podcast, simply send him an email at start@techieTonymedia.com, and he'll help you out getting your podcast started. And if you're just tuning in, go on your phone right now, go to your text messaging and type in the numbers 57838. That's 57838, the word car, and that is going to get you our free ebook, and it's going to help you with a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about. It's the way that you cannot get screwed. I didn't title it that. I titled it How to Buy a Car Without the Nonsense, but it's really how you can keep yourself from getting screwed.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love this, Jay. I mean, it's just because there's so much inside information we have that the public doesn't know. And I've learned a lot about the sales side that, I thought I knew, but it's like, wow, I really didn't know. And I've been giving out wrong information for a good number of years without realizing it.
There's so much more to talk about. We're going to have some great episodes to come. If you want to hear a topic, please comment in the comments below and let us know what you want to hear. That's what we're here for. We want to listen to you. We're not just talking what we want to talk about. We're talking about what you want to hear. So, Dave, unless you have anything else, again, my name is Jay Grossman. I'm the founder and CEO of iAutoAgent.com. And this is Mr.
David Marks with Quality Auto STL, home of trusted services with no surprises.
Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.